Hey guys, welcome to IGN India's Not a Game Show. I'm joined by Shunal Doke, I'm Vaspaan and we're going to take 5 minutes to talk about why anime games are so bad.
We need an answer for this question. It's the most important question of our times.
We're going to try and figure it out. I'm not sure we'll be able to, but we can talk about
I
how
can tell
bad
you
they
why
are.
they're bad.
Please.
The developers don't give a shit. They're just given a contract. They made to make these games in a year, maybe 2 years, and push it out the door. And people will buy it because the anime's name is on the game.
So, what you're trying to say is that they're just banking on the name of the anime.
Yep. Much like how people buy Call of Duty or FIFA every year. Anime games, yeah. You'll buy Dragon Ball every year.
Sure. What's the latest anime game you played, Shunal?
One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows.
Ah, yeah. Why don't you tell us about it?
It's bad. It's really fucking bad. Garbage.
And that's your IGN India review for One Punch Man.
Why do I keep reviewing the bad games, Vaspa?
Well, to be fair, you chose it. What's so bad about it? Why is the game so specifically bad? And let's try and take what you say and draw it back to other bad anime games.
Alright, so much like every other anime game these days, One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows, I'm not going to say the whole name again, is a 3v3 arena fighter. So it's 3D and much like something like, say, Jump Force. It controls badly. It's a tag game. There's no real skill involved. It's just, you're just mashing buttons all the time. The story doesn't, let you pick a character and go through the story in the One Punch Man universe. You just make your own character and follow the manga/anime. It's all around pretty bad. And I showed you the frame rates if you remembered.
I do. I thought they tried to do something a bit interesting where they stuck to the show where you are fighting whichever bad guy and they're like 2 minutes till Saitama shows up or
Yeah,
Genos
that's the
shows
one
up.
good thing that game does.
Yeah, and then it totally breaks itself when Saitama shows up.
Yeah, I like that they did that for the sake of comedy, but other than that, that game is absolute
I think,
garbage.
yeah, so
Fire.
for our listeners, if you're not sure, when Saitama shows up, he's basically invulnerable to every attack.
There's a reason the show is called One Punch Man.
And yeah, he pretty much defeats the opponent with one punch. So what I'm seeing here, okay, in the case of Dragon Ball Kakarot as well, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
And Kakarot still seemed like it had some more thought put into it because there's a whole expansive world and stuff to explore.
Not really.
As repetitive and boring as it might get, that still has that good. In fact, I think the combat system is pretty much the same, where you held down a trigger button and then push one of the face buttons for your special attack.
Yeah, so it was like L1 plus square is Kamehameha, L1 plus something else is double axe handle, all that shit. No, so the thing is what I saw in that game was they were trying to stay true to the Dragon Ball story. They were trying to stay true to the extent of getting the same voice actors back. They tried to make sure that we live through the Dragon Ball Z story as we remember as kids, but add something more to it. So they're banking on, once again, they're banking on our memories of the anime and trying to add their own spiel into it. Like the whole RPG system and the open world was absolute garbage in Kakarot. Like I just kept skipping every dialogue because it was that typical anime style of one line,
The
then press
stunted
X.
delivery.
One line, press X. And
Very, very stunted delivery.
yeah, it was really, really bad. And if you thought Dragon Ball Z's pacing was bad, Kakarot does way, way, way worse. So, I mean, there are games which do that. Like, they just try to pick up the name of the anime, bank on that, and try and sell as much as they can.
The most ambitious crossover in anime history from last year or the year before that, Jump Force. It's basically the same game as One Punch Man, just because it performs worse.
No, so I didn't play much of Jump Force, but it was essentially all your favorite guys from every anime.
Not all.
Not all.
Not all.
So
they two JoJo characters.
Was it Jojo and Jojo?
It was Jotaro and Dio. That's
okay.
it. That's all you got.
Alright, so the most popular Jojo and the most popular villain. So once again, they were just trying to bank like, oh, here's all these guys you love, and that's it.
I mean, that's the cover, right? Goku, Naruto, and Luffy from One Piece. That's them on the cover. That's it.
So once again, just banking on these big names, but not adding much of a substance when it comes to the
Not
gaming.
doing anything clever with it. Not really adding anything to the formula.
Like just for reference sake, what was the campaign of Jump Force?
Oh, some evil people have started mind controlling evil people throughout these different universes. And Trunks and his time traveling group of superheroes, you included, are supposed to go across all these different universes and slap them enough times so that they snap out of being evil.
Okay, that sounds like every anime ever, but yeah.
So like it does sound like a lot of battle anime, but there's no personality, which is what makes most anime fun to watch.
Sure, and when it comes to a game like Jump Force, which has such a big star cast and so many big stars, One complaint I've also heard was some of your favorite anime characters would just be in the background.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I don't know, Deku from My Hero Academia was apparently just chilling in the background, was a
Yeah,
grunt.
he doesn't have much involvement in the story itself.
Right. So even when they're trying to bank on, let's say, the popularity of a particular anime, they're not doing it justice. Like, I think it's one of the problems, like, we were worried about with a movie like The Avengers. Like, okay, we have all these guys, will all of them get enough screen time? I would say that Avengers managed, let's not get into that. But I don't think Jump Force managed
Oh,
that.
God, no, of course not. Hell no. I think the closest thing we've had to a good video game crossover with movies and anime and all that stuff has been like the old Capcom versus stuff.
Marvel
Like
versus
vs.
Capcom.
Capcom 3. To an extent, Infinite was a decent game to play, if not presentable. And older stuff like Tatsunoko versus Capcom and SNK versus Capcom, those were pretty good. And they had all kinds of characters in there. And those are good because Capcom used to be really good at making fighting games.
True. So, Shunal, I mean, we've been talking about shitty anime games for a while. We figured that they just try to bank on the name of the anime. What's the last good anime game you played?
You'll have to go really far back for that. A couple of years ago, One Piece got a game. I wouldn't call it good, but at least interesting. They tried to do something new with it because One Piece is an anime about exploring the world. So they made an open world brawler. Problem really was that the combat was too repetitive. Because for some reason, gameplay developers can't come up with more robust combat systems.
That's true. That's something I've noticed in shonen style fighters where
When like characters have these huge movesets, but like you're going to just do a couple of the iconic stuff.
yeah, exactly. No, but it's Square to do 500 punches and kicks and then a trigger and another button to do a finisher.
Yep.
And that seems to be, I don't know, almost creating a tiny little genre for itself.
And it's like the old God of War style of combat, right? Like heavy attack, light attack.
Yeah, but that's not
circle
what
for
you
special
want
attacks.
in a fighting game.
Yeah,
right?
it's not. It's really not. It's not what you want in a competitive multiplayer game. I think the last good one of those might be either the PlayStation 2 Dragon Ball Z 2D fighters, not the Tenkaichi Budokai. The Budokai 3 was the last of those.
Speaking of Dragon Ball, I mean, we also have Dragon Ball FighterZ.
FighterZ is
I think
the
it's
best.
the best
straight up,
anime
yeah.
game to come out on the last two consoles.
The last 3-4 consoles.
Last 3-4 consoles.
And it's the best anime game, period.
Sure. What did they do differently that none of these other games are possibly doing?
Because it's a fighting game, it's inherently deeper because the developers actually paid attention to the core fighting.
But isn't Shonen
Jump Force
Jump Force
does
also
not
a
have.
fighting
It's
game?
supposed to be a fighting game, but the developers obviously don't care about it being deep or competitive or anything. They just want you to mash buttons and look cool. Fundamentally, misunderstanding that mashing buttons and looking cool is only fun for an hour, maybe two. Dragon Ball FighterZ has a ceiling you can touch, and that's when mashing buttons and looking cool looks even cooler when you know that you've reached the ceiling.
That's true. I think the one game we've been looking forward to for the past few Evos was Dragon Ball FighterZ because it looks absolutely gorgeous and chaotic just like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Very high skill ceiling as you said. And it does require skill as opposed to square,
It's
trigger,
got,
square.
Like we discussed in our accessibility episode, it has the auto combos for beginners, but then there's also a definite step up from that. There are many step ups from that. Like you're never going to be running out of things to get better at in that game.
So, okay, so what I'm getting from what you're saying is FighterZ did not just bank on its popularity
Oh no,
on
that
Dragon
helps.
Balls.
That definitely helps.
Sure. But they also added their own systems to it. I mean, I think Axis, right? Axis is by far the best fighting game,
The best 2D fighting game.
2D fighting game maker right now. And they've almost patented this style of fighting style controller layout, I would say.
I mean, it's a pretty classical layout. I think they developed it originally for Guilty Gear, but it's the same studio, so they've just been refining it further and further.
Right. So the auto combos, the light to heavy sequence that you have to go
In a
through.
way, Street Fighter also follows a similar light to heavy stuff. It's just weirder in that.
So it's not that they've just taken the name of Dragon Ball Z and run with it.
No, it's inherently a good game even if you rip out the license.
Exactly. That's what I want to say. It's a good game without the Dragon Ball Z name in it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what a lot of studios are missing out.
Yeah.
They're
They
trying
bank in a novelty.
Yeah, like you need to create a good game first and then apply whatever skin you want to it, be it Dragon Ball Z, One Punch Man, whatever.
Obviously you can't do that. It has to go hand in hand. Like you have to use the theme to uplift the game mechanics and you have to use the game mechanics to uplift the themes.
So pattern I'm seeing here is that games like Kakarot or One Punch Man or even
Naruto fighting games,
Sure,
Jump Force,
whatever.
all that stuff.
They're very focused on trying to make you the protagonist.
Yeah, they want you to just pick a character, your favorite character from whatever anime and have fun, whatever that means.
Yeah, like they want you to live through Goku or live through Luffy or whoever the hell.
Yeah.
Right? But what I'm seeing with Dragon Ball FighterZ is that you can pick anyone.
Yeah.
but that system will always be fun.
Yeah.
Right? They're not focused on, I'm going to give you the Goku experience, like live Dragon Ball Z through Goku, but you are there playing a well-created game rather than that.
And I'd argue FighterZ gives you a closer experience to being like Goku than Jump Force does, because all shonen characters, Goku included, are inherently about getting better at things.
Sense, very meta of you, Shunal. So, we tried. We're not anime experts like some people, like some
What's
other
an anime
podcasts.
game you'd like to see?
An anime game I'd like to see.
You will use that question to take this home.
So I mean, there's already been a game about this, but not a really good one. I really wanted to see a My Hero Academia anime game. I did not want it to be a fighting game.
What do you want it to be? Would you like it to be closer to like a Persona game?
I wanted it to be a Monster Hunter game.
A Monster? How would that work?
I don't know. No, so think about it this way. In Monster Hunter, you have your weapon defines your playstyle.
Yeah,
right?
so that'd be a quirk.
So that a quirk will define your playing style. You're essentially already part of an institution, which is the superhero...
The Hero Academy or whatever.
Hero Academy, whatever the hell they're part of. And sure, you have various types of villains constantly attack. It obviously won't be a infinite hunt like you can do in Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
But it'll be something like that. You use the particular quirk, you can select different characters for different quirks, try it out, what works for you.
How cool would it be if Platinum made that game?
Oh, anything would be cool if Platinum made it, let's face it.
Yeah.
What about you, Shunal?
It should be obvious. I want Arxis to make a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fighting game.
Yeah, really missing that JoJo, huh?
Yeah, I mean Arxis is like clearly the master of their craft at this point. They're the best fighting game company out there. And JoJo's just filled with so many unique characters with unique abilities. Not even all of them are obviously combat-centric. So it'd be pretty fun to figure out.
And one thing I've noticed about Arxis games is that they will focus on each character and change up their systems if they have to.
Despite FighterZ having 70 Gokus to pick from, they're all unique.
Yeah, that's true. Well, there you have it. We sort of delved into why anime games are so bad, what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing.
And a couple of the good ones.
Yeah, a few good ones. FighterZ obviously being the most obvious. Well, thank you very much, Shunal. I'm Vaspaan and Shunal, and this was Not a Game Show.